All righty then. All right, the first thing we're going to do for what's good here is a book that came out I think last week or week before. I forget which. It's all a blur now because of the whole diamond thing going on. But this one is called Howl, and it is from Ahoy Comics. Ahoy Comics. And this is the A cover, which I just got from T-Fall. It just arrived a few days ago.
Shout out to the homies at T-Fall.
You such a stand for T-Fall. Yeah, T-Fall is all right. You're all right in my book. And this is, of course, last week I got able to pick up from the shop, the 1 in 5 or 1 in 3, or whichever it is. And it is written by Elisa Whitney, and drawn and colored by Morissette, is what the artist goes by. And this is a very cool looking retro style art here that I feel, I'm a sucker for that anyways, like the pinup apocalypse thing that just came out. I love that shit, even though I was, it's totally like, a fictitious in some people's mind era when everything was going great and it actually wasn't that great. We left it to Beaver and Father Knew Best and all that jazz, and it's all just a bunch of bullshit because it was never that reality whatsoever, just kind of like a fantasy. But anyhoozle, this is told through from a female perspective, which you don't see a lot in you see it in comics from here and there, but especially not mainstream comics. And I think sometimes it's good for us to like look at things through the eyes of others. Issue 1 is called The Invasion, and it starts in it goes between 1957 and 1959. There's this woman, what's her name? Her name is Zara or Zita, I think is her name. And she's this young Jewish girl living in New York City. And it kind of ties the whole 50s Nora nostalgia thing with science fiction. So it's kind of a cross, as you might guess from this cover here. There's some sort of a science fiction aspect to it. And in 1957, this woman who was a psychiatrist gets hit with some spores, like from an alien spacecraft, right? And she's ends up treating her patients, and she's influencing them with the alien entities, controlling her. And you flash forward to 2 years later, 1959, when Zita's in New York. She's on her own. She's the young girl in the city, and her mother's coming by to make sure everything's up on the up and up. This is 1950s, don't you know? But she's got a pretty cool mom for a 1950s mom. And through one way or another, she discovers that her daughter is having sex. so horror of horror.
My daughter. Mm-hmm.
She's a grown ass woman. She's 23.
I don't care. No, my daughter.
Don't be that guy.
I'm kidding.
And since she's going through the whole thing, the mom was pretty cool about it for being the 50s. And she's and Zita's turning out she's banging this writer who's borderline successful. He's highly regarded in his field. In the whole beat era of that generation. But he can be kind of a dick, and she seems to be one of those people who are attracted to people like that. Which is kind of weird. But you can't help what you're attracted to. One of those. You said it, not me. The guys can be attracted to not so good for you women too. So not so good for you guys if you swing.
If your woman doesn't slap you, does she really love you?
I know, right? Show me you love me. He's in and out of her life. He's handsome. He's apologetic when he brings her gifts when he comes back. Hey, baby, look, I'm back. Here's a fucking pinata from Mexico. I was in Mexico. What the fuck are you doing in Mexico? Why you take me? But long story. He does this stuff, and he has artist friends who are just 1950s men. When there's no such thing as sexual assault, and this guy literally at a party with all the writers and their wives and girlfriends, he just palms Zita's ass right in front of his wife. Like, hey, you get a nice little tush there, Zita, and the wife looks at Zita like it's her fault. Like, Zita, why don't you take care of some of the other guests? Like, bitch, you didn't grab, I didn't grab his ass. What are you talking about? It's this little stuff like that where you're gaslit by even by women who just pretend that it's not the man's fault. How dare you for seducing him and making him do that? That kind of shit. It's all kind of little things like that we just may not even understand as men. Even if you're not the kind of guy that will grab your friend's wife's ass, at a party. So it starts off at a really good pace, and with the science fiction aspect, turns out one of the people that the psychiatrist at the beginning of the story who got the alien spores is treating one of her boyfriend's friends. And there's an influence that's going to happen, I guess, between the alien psychiatrist, the alien inspired psychiatrist, and him. So this is going to affect Zeta's life in some way. It's going to become more than just um, a melodrama of her missing her man because he's kind of a jerk. It's going to be a science fiction kind of a aliens take over the world kind of a thing going on. So I'm here for it. So Howl, which is God, I mean, I'm such an illiterate fuck. Which is actually a book by Alan Greensburg, I want to say, a poem. Yeah, Allen Ginsberg. Allen Ginsberg, excuse me. I'm just a illiterate comic book reader, but it was a very popular thing back in the day, and this really captures a lot of that good 50s period piece, man, and a well-written book. Love the art, love the story. Check it out, if you will. Next is
Before we go to the next, shout out to Michael DeFonte, who was directing people to like the stream, which really appreciate that. Thank you very much, homie. Said he really likes the channel. So shout out to the homie Michael. And then, of course, Sorge Forge is in the house. What up, Sorge Forge? Thanks for coming through.
You, Michael.
I highly recommend, if you missed it, to rewind and catch the indie review that we just did. He got me hooked on it. He got me hyped. I'm talking to K-pop about it right now, actually.
Yes. Oh, that's awesome, man. He deserves to get all the attention that he can get. And it is a good book. Oh, thank you, Sorge Forge. That is a damn good book. Bless your heart. That's what some of those literacy snobs would probably think. Oh, no, he didn't even go to Brown or Harvard. He's a lowbrow heathen. The second thing is from one of our guys. Shout out, End of Zed. End of Zed. Did you get your copy yet?
You did. You darn right. I did.
I got my Eddie Lima.
I just read it.
Signed copy.
Yeah.
Yes, you got. I got. You got 2 covers too.
Oh, he didn't sign my copy. What the hell?
Uh-oh.
Come on, Eddie. Come on, baby.
This one's going in the file to get graded right here. I'm hanging on to this one. Yeah. So End of Zed.
Such a great quality book. Looks great. Feels great.
Isn't it? And he sent me I get a few extras too. A very cool note, man. I almost say it was on the note, but man, I feel you. I appreciate you. And got some stickers, little End of Zed stickers. The character is so cute, almost as cute as a Ninja Bunny Assassin, which is available at the store here.
Get you a shirt, guys.
Yes, get you a shirt. Get you a shirt and even throw in a sticker. So all these little prints and stuff. And the interior art, man, it takes place in the 1980s where this guy crash lands. Those of you who've been around, remember when Eddie was on the show talking about it, this little guy crash lands in the 1980s Bronx, and it's just like, met with all the shit that's going on there with between the drug dealing and the thuggery and also from the hip hop point of view, which is was the defining things about the 90s and the decade to come, New Jack City and all that jazz, So and it goes more deeper than what we, I guess, talked about, and it's kind of a surprise ending, and it's a cliffhanger. So this is just number 1. So we're gonna be having Eddie back on here pretty soon to talk about his the next coming parts of End of Zed, which is this little robot here, which is experiencing Earth from his point of view. And it's such all his covers are so shiny and cool. Like,
it's great. High quality book, no 100%. Marvel floppy paper for this guy.
No Marvel floppy paper. Who can really afford to? Marvel can afford to put out your content that looks like this, but why would we do that? We can put out toilet paper for a cover or whatever. Like, why would we do that? Lucas Assis, Assis is the artist here, and Lucas does a great job on that too. I want to give credit to them. Another thing that's what's good from another indie publisher, indie. Talking about showing up indie, small publisher. It's called Dust Devil, and this is from a person that goes by Orenthal Twain. And this is a like a mini comic. There's a full-size comic that's available too. I'll tell you where that's available. You can get that.
That looks indie as
it is fun. And this, he got a couple of people. He does the interior art. You get like this is a Simon Bisley. I know you Simon Bisley.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
this is a Simon
definitely,
Bisley cover.
yeah.
So this is some some real shit here. And you got another guy who did a cover of Stefano Cardacelli has done a cover for him as well. That's which one is that? Oh, that's the gunslinger on your left right there. That's the Cardacelli cover, and of course Orenthal does a couple of covers too. But man, this is about this it takes place in the Old West, right? And this guy is like he's kind of a weird supernatural kind of a guy. But man, I love the dark humor and everything that they portray in here. And he's going back to this town where he's once like a persona non grata, and there's some things that happen that of the supernatural nature before it's over. It's a really thick book too, man, and it's so well done. Like with the artwork for the saloon right there and all that jazz. Man, I love like gritty Western. That's the only kind of Western I care for. Because I know it was just like some gritty, nasty times back then. Like Deadwood. I mean, if you've ever watched the Deadwood series, love that shit. Dead Man with Johnny Depp, that movie. Because you figure that was that era was just totally nasty. I mean, people like just it wasn't like cowboys and the white hats and the Lone Ranger with his clean pants and everything else. People rode for days, in the saddle, man. They were probably like, caked in mud and haven't bathed in months.
Stankin'.
Oh, it was stinking like a mofo. And you go into the saloon, man. I mean, can you imagine? Everybody in that saloon, and probably everybody, going to the bathroom in a bucket somewhere in the back. It's just like, I want reality in my westerns. The only way I can like stomach a western now. But I digress, as I often do. And I think he tells in the back where you can actually get the full size support indie comics at www.dustdevilcomicbook.com. And you can get the full size book there, or you can just scan this this whatever the fuck they call that code. If you're one of those people that scans every code you see appear on the screen, but I'm not one of those people. But you can go to I should put that down in the post. I'll add Dust Devil to the list of books you can check out. But man, this is a cool book. Thank you, Orenthal, for sending that. Last thing is Parliament of Rooks. As we all know now, rooks, well, some people knew before, but rooks are actually birds. So birds are like crows, and these I think that's what you call a flock, like a murder of crows, a parliament of rooks. What is it? There's some other things too. I can't remember. There's a whole list of I don't know what they call those things because I just slipped my mind. But a certain
Parliament of funks.
What is it?
A parliament of funks.
A parliament. Now you're talking. Parliament of funkadelic. All right. So this is pretty much and this was nominated. This is a Eisner nominated series, but this first time in print. So I think maybe it was done. It was crowdfunded first, and now Blaze has picked it up and is publishing it. And who is the art? I'll give the props. Created and illustrated by Abigail Jill Harding, And Richard Starkings, who does a lot of lettering, and he also did the script. And he also, in this book, he also did the editorial and the design also. This book has got some of the coolest art. There's an architect who has this weird dream, and he's inspired by this dream in some ways, and he's been commissioned to do work for this princess, and he travels to see the princess and deliver his work. And he turns out he goes to this masquerade ball, which is given on the night that he arrives, and strange things happen. He ends up dancing with the princess, and the things that happen in his dream are somehow tied to this occasion. But what really got me, man, was just the beautiful art in this. This is another instance of a black and white grayscale book. That's just is a banger. I mean, if you're looking for some really good black and white art, this is it. And the story is good as well. I don't want to give away too much of it because it's pretty awesome. Parliament of Rooks. This is from Ablaze, and I think Comicraft also was like originally released by Comicraft Originals. That's what it says on the back here. So I guess you can get it there, and it's still running, maybe into issue number 3 or 4 by now. I was a little late getting to this one. You know, sometimes I'm a little late digging stuff up, but better late than never. But it's right now it's got the Eisner thing at the top there. I mean, so it's legit. It's good. Parliament of Rooks from Abigail Jill Harding, who does most of the art and much of the writing. So that's my what's good for this week, y'all.
Hey, don't forget to subscribe and leave a thumbs up.